Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about how to get rid of lice, fleas, and ticks in a survival situation, because this is often overlooked part of survival, disaster, and all, and war and such. But this is something that you will most likely will encounter, and it's almost never been talked about. But before we start, if you're interested in detective stories, this is the first part of an 11-part series that I wrote. It's called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch, and if you're interested, it will be down in the description. All right. So, parasites like ticks, lice, and fleas, they are almost hand in hand with almost every disaster scenario. Why? Because think about it. Whenever there is some kind of disaster, whether it's a financial disaster, a war, a natural disaster, what will happen is people will lower their level of sanitation. People will more animals will come into contact with each other if they live in a smaller area. More pets are being taken less care of, and they will start to get into places where they or get less attention, where they get disinfected, and so on and so on. And yeah, those are things that contribute to the rise of these kind of parasites, and it's often overlooked how much this happens almost in every conflict, every disaster, every prison camp or whatever. People had to deal with lice and fleas. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. What can you do if in a survival situation during a bug in, bug out, or whatever disaster? How to get rid of these? The thing is, there are many things on the internet that will say you have to do this, you have to use this, but um, yeah, I'm a little bit skeptic about most of them, so I try to analyze it on why it would work, what are the chances that it would work, how many sources claim that this will work, is this not just written over by somebody else? So I came up with the from not only from how do you say this, from tips from house mothers and grannies on the internet, but I'm more looking into analyzing history. Mostly, I'm going to look on how soldiers who came into these kind of situations, how they get rid of their fleas and their lice, and this is where I got the best, in my opinion, the best remedies against these kind of parasites. So yeah, let's start with the beginning, the most basic things that almost everybody is going to have, and that is this is shampoo against lice. So yeah, it's very simple. Get if you have a few bottles of these in your home preparedness, and somebody brings in lice, because don't forget, it's not because you have lice that you're unsanitary. Even in a clean house, somebody can get lice. That's also the reason why there is sometimes a yearly period where children in a school get an infestation of lice. That's because one kid got into contact with somebody else and they give it to each other. It can spread even if you are very clean. So judge or don't judge a person if they got lice. It can happen to anyone. So get a shampoo with anti lice, and you will be fine. But this, you can use this best in with a lice comb. This is a very this is a comb specially designed to to comb out lice from your hair, because we all want to keep our hair even in yeah, during our normal day. So if you get lice, I would say get one of these combs, get the anti lice shampoo, and just put it close to your head and start to comb the hair. And what you best can do is you get some hot soapy water and put the comb inside of it, and the lice will drown. Or yeah, they will drown, or they will get burnt if it's hot enough. So that's something that you can do. Not So if you do not have these things, the next option I would say is just shave your head. If you get lice, shave your head. So just get yeah, in my opinion, you can get just a shaver, but you can also get something like this, or shave with yeah, a knife. So yeah, just shave your head, and there is no place where the lice can hide. The same thing goes for your armpits, for your pubic hair, any hair where the lice could get stuck in, live in. So if you do that, you have less chance that the lice will survive and be able to reproduce. So that's another thing you can do. But like I said, not everyone wants to give their glorious hair away. So yeah, those are the things that you can do. Uh, Another thing you can do against lice is olive oil. Uh, why would you use olive oil? What you do is you take the olive oil, you rub it in your scalp thoroughly so that everything is covered in olive oil, and then you take a plastic shower head, I think it's called, over your head so it stays on, the oil stays inside of it, and that way, if you repeat this a few days in a row for several hours, the lice will start to suffocate because the oil forms a layer where they are getting stuck in. They cannot get oxygen because it's a viscous material, and they will die off. And if you do this multiple days for multiple hours, multiple weeks, you will get rid of lice, and it will keep your hair very smooth. Also, and then the eggs that will hatch will also drown and suffocate in the olive oil. So that's another thing that you can use for this for getting rid out of head lice. But also be careful if you have one of those shower heads. Wear clothing that will not get that can be stained because the oil will run off your head and into that. I don't say it's the most practical one. I say it's a moderate effective one. Another thing is coconut oil. Coconut oil is works in the same way as olive oil, but the benefit of coconut oil is it has a certain acidity that will start to kill, not really kill, but it will prevent lice from developing better. So yeah, it's more of a stopping cure rather than really effective killing. So yeah, that's another thing you can do. Uh, what I've heard is alcohol. Rubbing alcohol into your hair, and it can also kill lice. I'm not sure about it, and using alcohol on your scalp does not seem like the most healthy. But if you have no other option and you can make your own alcohol, it's worth a try. But I'm not really sure about this particularly one. Next thing is yeah, we got the head lice. So those are the most common thing that you will face as a prepper or survivalist in any disaster scenario. Fleas are also one of these. Fleas, they can jump very far from animals to even humans. So yeah, fleas. A famous example is World War One. Everybody in World War One in the trenches had fleas. It's a very common story, and one of the things that they did to get rid of the fleas, yeah, the problem is they used a lot of chemical pesticides to clean the clothing and their bodies, and the problem was it gave them probably cancer later on. So we're not going to focus. I'm not going to focus on chemical things that you can use because I'm not really a fan of chemical uses against that you can use with your body. So what I'm going to say is some tricks that they used to get rid of fleas. The first trick is very simple: bathe, shower, keep yourself clean, and yeah, and also your animals. That's also very important. Your animals can get fleas from their backyard and get it that way into your house. I know the dog of my brother always got fleas uh, from just running into the yard, and we had to flea them all the time. So yeah, that's that's another thing. Keep your pets clean, and there will not be a problem. But like I said before, even if you are clean, you can get infected with fleas from other people that might have the same problem. So what you do is, first of all, take all your clothing and put it in very hot water because fleas uh, are not a really fan of really hot water. I would say not really between 60 degrees Celsius and boiling water. That will usually kill the fleas. If you're washing your clothes very thoroughly in soapy water, so that will kill them. You can also put some other chemicals in, like they did in World War One. But like I said, I'm not really a fan of chemical warfare against these things because it can also affect me in a negative way. While you're washing clothes in hot water, soapy water, you can get the fleas of your body, taking a bath. But like you imagine in World War One, the trenches, they did not really had that much opportunities to take showers or bath. So what they did was, you can do this with just some hot water and you can pick the fleas off, put it in there. But what they did in World War One is they took their eating camels, put it on a candle or something like that, and when they are naked, they look for the fleas, and they call this flea hunting. Take the fleas, you can squash them with your fingers, but that will give some blood. But what they did is, like I said, a candle or a heater where they put a pan on it and put it on, and the flea is dead immediately. It will not jump back or to somebody else, because that's the reason why they did this. If you just take fleas, throw them away, they will jump back onto you or some other unfortunate soul that just passing by. So you have to kill the flea. You cannot be animal friendly against fleas because they will jump right back and you can start all over again. So while your clothes are boiling, just pick the fleas as much as possible and just toss them onto a hot plate or into hot water, and that's the way they did it. Like I said before, shave if you got fleas, shave your head, shave your pubes, shave your armpits, and the fleas will have less room to nest in, to say. But you have to scan all your body, even if you have to use a body system that can look onto your back and into some embarrassing places and help each other out, picking the fleas like monkeys do. And that's one of the best ways to get rid of fleas in that way. Um, Another thing that they did a little trick from after World War II, I think. It was a German soldier was sent to a gulag camp after a POW gulag camp after the war, and they had a little trick to get fleas out of uh, their clothing. So what they do is they took the clothing, they buried it in a layer of dirt, and they just kept something like this big open of the clothing, and the rest is covered in dirt. What happened is fleas, fleas, they need some light and warmth. So what they did is they crawl from in the clothing towards the only spot with light and warmth, and there they would gather, and that way you can just get them all and put them onto a hot plate, and yeah, you can get rid of those clothing that way. Another trick that I heard about or read in a comic book, but I'm not really sure if this is something that is actually working. So if anyone has experience with this what I'm about to say, please let me know if it works, because I'm really curious about it. The thing is, they would put their clothes on top of ant hills or ant nests, and the ants would eat the lice and the fleas. And after so much time, you can just take your clothes and all the fleas are gone. And yeah, you have to deal with ants, but ants are less of a problem than fleas. So yeah, if anybody knows if this is historical accurate, please let me know, and if it works, because I'm very curious about this. Um, yeah, and the same thing goes also not only for your clothing and for your body. If there are fleas in your house, they could nest in your pillows, your bed, your carpet, anything where they can hide in. And if you have that problem, a vacuum machine could go a few times a day with a vacuum around every space that you find where they could hide. And it could be made more easier with baking soda by putting it onto your carpet, for example. Let it work in, and then vacuum it again. Repeat, rinse, repeat. And that way you can also get rid of fleas inside of your house, because they are not only onto your body and in your clothes. So yeah, these are the things that I would do in a survival situation without the use of really chemical pesticides, to say that could be negative for your health. But yeah, that's just a thingy of me. So if anyone has any other experience with getting rid out of. Oh wait, there's still one more that we have to go. We have to do, and those are ticks. If you have ticks, there are several ways you can prevent ticks, and that's usually you get ticks by walking into high grass or in forest area. And yeah, as a trekker, as a camper during a bug out, you will know ticks are very dangerous because of Lyme disease. So you get to spot them as early as possible. So if you walk through high grass, first of all, preventive, get good shoes, get high socks, and what I also would recommend is get nylon socks. This is a thing that they did in Vietnam, or some hunters do this, and even in the military they do sometimes do this. They take nylon socks beneath their regular socks, and the thing is, it's not only handy for for keeping your feet from rubbing against uh, the shoe and will prevent blisters, but it's also good that ticks and other parasites that will climb onto your legs will not get a hold on to your legs because of the thin layer of the nylon sock. So that's a good preventive measurement. Another thing that you have to do is um, after when you start to rest, when you take a break, when you set up shelter, always inspect your legs and your body for ticks. That's also a very important thing to do. Do it on a regular basis. If you perhaps ask for somebody to help you watch your back or sides that you can hardly reach or see. But take your shoes off, take your socks off, roll up your pants, and just do a quick checkup if there are any ticks visible. And do this regularly, because when the moment they start bigger, the chances of Lyme disease will get bigger. If you have a tick, first of all, don't burn them off, because if you burn them, they will start to vomit some blood back, and it will can get infected. So please don't do that. Do not squash them, because same thing, you can let them vomit back into the wound that they are sucking blood from, and that's a bad thing. The best thing you can do is you can get one of those tick tanks, or something. I would use my multi tool. Very carefully take the body, if this is the body of the tick. Uh, Very carefully get the tick and turn slowly the grip that you have the body with, and that way you can turn and pull it out of there. The turning is used so they will release from your skin, and then you pull them off without the risk of getting their head stuck into the wound that might get infected, or that they will start to barf back into the wound, because it's a defensive mechanism that they have. So that's the thing, that how you deal with ticks. I think I'm ready now um, with this video. So if you get any other tips about how to remove fleas, ticks, lice, let me know in the comments. Another thing, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers.